Hello everybody, it's Cobalt here, and happy new year, happy 2025. That's wild that it's already 2025, like I can't believe it. I feel like 2024 just started. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing my now annual tradition of showing you my top 10 favorite LPS customs that I completed over the year. I ended up counting all of the work that I did, and it turns out I have made at least 288 customs in 2024, and I say at least because there's a very good chance that I could have forgotten something, but as far as I know, that's at least almost 300, which is really wild. I know I made over 200 last year as well, but this is still a much bigger number, and I could not be more grateful. Most of those customs were commissions, but another good majority of them were made to sell, so I just appreciate all of the wonderful business I've gotten. Unfortunately though, only one of those 288 customs was actually made for myself, which is also kind of wild to think about, and I guess I'll just show that custom here as an honorable mention because I haven't really shown him anywhere else yet, and that is my yearly tradition of making a Krampus custom. So this is 2024 Krampus. He is a deer head on a goat body, so a new head swap that I've never done. I sculpted the tail, I sculpted the claws on his front legs, some extra fluff here and there, the entire snout and the tongue, the angry eyebrows, the hair on the head, and I also decided to give him 4 horns instead of 2 just because I thought that would look cool. And I'm not like crazy about this custom. I think his face looks a little bit strange because his eyes just look super low, but I also do really like him and I think he's cool. He has a very nice side profile, which I enjoy, and because I spent the last 2 weeks leading up to Christmas making a film instead of working on this custom, I made this guy in entirely less than 24 hours, so this is probably like the fastest I have ever completed a relatively detailed custom. Obviously, most of the detail comes out in the sculpting. The actual paint job is pretty simple because luckily most of it is black, so that definitely made it easier. But yeah, honorable mention for this guy. I definitely enjoy him, and again, thanks for all of the feedback and views on my latest film, even though this custom isn't actually in it. I used my Krampus custom from 2023 for that film instead, but I still think that he is pretty fun and pretty cool. But enough of that, let's actually get into my top 10. So, little disclaimer, all of the customs that I'm about to show you are commissions, so most of them are not my original design. I'll obviously point that out when I show you the custom, but also all customs except for one I will be showing in pre-recorded footage. Only one of them I currently still have in my possession. But yeah, so anyways, starting off with number 10, we have my Anthro / doll custom. I'm not like super proud of this custom by any means, and I don't really like it all that much, but I feel like it deserved a spot in this list, especially because of the video that I made, which got over 30,000 views like insanely quickly and definitely contributed to a lot of the growth that I had on my channel in the back half of this year, which I really appreciate, and that's literally so crazy. So obviously go watch that video if you want to learn more about this custom. I talk about it a lot more there, but this was a commission of somebody's OC. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to paint these bases without having the joints chip. A lot of people on my video gave me good feedback on how I could fix that, but ultimately, like, doll customs just aren't really something that I'm interested in, so I probably won't be doing it anymore unless it's a body that either A, I don't have to paint, or B, doesn't move at all. But again, I feel like it just deserved a place on this list because it's kind of like a monumental achievement in my customizing career, and again, really happy with how well that video did. Moving on to number 9, another custom that I just feel like deserved a place on this list because it was another new thing that I've never done before, and it is one of my Sabertooth tiger customs. I also have a video about this custom, and technically I made 3 of these. They were all for sale and were all sold at LPS Con over the summer. I made this pink one, and then I made a blue one, which the video focuses on, and then I made an orange one as well. But out of all 3 of them, this pink one was definitely my favorite. I just think that she turned out really cute. Unfortunately, I don't remember who bought this custom for me, but if it was you, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you are taking good care of them. It's a walrus head on a jaguar body. I feel like I'm pretty smart for coming up with that head swap idea. I think it's absolutely perfect for a saber-toothed tiger. And then obviously I had to sculpt the ears and the hair and the cheek fluff. And this one's overall design was inspired by cherry blossoms, and I'm not like crazy about the color pink or anything, but I think that this theming and design turned out really cute, and I just think that it has such an adorable little face. Moving on to custom number 8, this was one that I made earlier in the year, and this was my Palestine Fundraiser custom. This one also has a video. It's not a time-lapse video, it's mostly just a video of me talking about the custom, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here again. This is made from a deer base. I sculpted the antlers, I sculpted the tail, I sculpted the flag around its neck, and I sculpted some details as well on the little bird, which is a teensy LPS that is glued onto its head. So like I said, this was a fundraiser custom. I wanted to make something both in solidarity charity and to raise money for the genocide in Gaza and Palestine that is still going on. It's been over a year, and I would encourage you all to stay educated on the topic and, you know, just be there for people who need it. And I originally listed this custom on eBay for a bidding price of $30, and the final sale price ended up being $70. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money, but I mean, that's almost $100, which is pretty cool, and I'm very proud of everybody who bid on the custom and helped it reach such a high price point. I donated all of that money, so I made absolutely nothing from this custom. Taxes and shipping, everything that accumulated into the final price of $70, that all got donated to PCRF, which is Palestine Child's Relief Fund. Again, I feel like I'm sort of rambling with what I'm saying right now, but I really enjoyed painting this custom. I'm very happy with what I was able to accomplish with it. Like I said, the war and the genocide is still occurring, so I would love to make another one of these customs, hopefully soon. I've just been very busy, so I haven't really had the time to really plan out a nicely thought out custom like this, but hopefully I can do one again soon and do the same kind of thing and do the same donation. Speaking of the same topic, I would also like to do one for Lebanon because the same thing is happening there now as well. And I would also like to do one for Ukraine because of what Russia is currently doing to that country. I feel like I need to do something to support all of that because as somebody on the internet with a decent amount of following, I feel like it is definitely my responsibility to help contribute in a positive way to something like that. So to keep with the theme of the custom, if you guys are from either of those countries, know people from either of those countries, or just know things that could help educate me, please let me know. Please let me know what is like a national animal or something associated with that. For the Palestine custom, I did a gazelle with a songbird on its head because both of those are, I believe, the national animals of Palestine, or at least ones that are very important to their culture. I'd like to do that, like I said, for Lebanon and Ukraine. And also, please let me know any charities that I could donate the money to. Anyways, moving on to number 7, we have this custom, which was actually part of a trade that I did with LPS Ashy over on Instagram. So this is her original design. I believe I've talked about this custom in a video already as well, but I just think that it turned out so cute. It's made from a bull base. I think Ashy did an amazing job of coming up with the design. I love the colors that I ended up using, and I love how I painted the eyes, especially with these really cute, like bright green. I just love this custom. I absolutely love painting bull custom. That's why I'm so glad that the bull bases return in G7, so now I have like infinite numbers of them to finally customize, because if it weren't for that, I like never would have been able to customize a bull LPS, so that's really cool. This one has some extra sculpted fur and a sculpted bandana, and then the flowers are sculpted using a mold. But yeah, like I said, I just think that he is super, super cute. Now on to number 6. This is another one that was a commission for somebody over on Etsy of their original character. But anyways, I just think that their OC had such a fun and detailed design, and I'm also very proud of the modifications that I made to this base. It is made from a bonbon cat base, and I had to cut off the original ears and the hair that it had on the top of the head, and then I entirely resculpted the ears. He has a little bit of an egg-shaped head now that I'm looking at him right now, but I think that it still looked really cute. And again, I really love the ears. I think I got them pretty symmetrical, and they look very, very smooth. And then obviously the cheek fluff is sculpted. There's some extra fluff on the tail and the chest that's sculpted, and then the 2 stars next to the swirly eye. I just think it's a very, very cool, very fun design, and I am very, very inspired by this guy's design as well. So I would love to make something like sort of inspired by this in the future for myself. Now on to number 5, we have this custom. I had to include this one on my list because this was a commission from somebody on Etsy who happens to be my favorite commissioner of all time. For the past 2 years that I've done this video, I believe both of the customs that ended up being my favorite from the year were actually customs that they commissioned me to make. When they commissioned me for this custom, they actually commissioned me for 2 different customs at the same time. I love both of them, but this one was definitely my favorite. Another really cool head swap. It's a G3 husky head on a jaguar body. If you want to know how to do a head swap between a G3 LPS head and then a G1/G2/G7 LPS body, I have a tutorial on that as well. But I love the sculpting on this one. I think it's so cute. I love these super vibrant colors, and I love the eyes. I think, again, the colors that I used for that and just the style that I painted them in is so cute. And look at his little mouth and his little teeth. He's adorable. I think this character was supposed to be a little dragon, which I think is really cool. Dragons are always fun to make, no matter how scary or how cute and cuddly they look. This one's obviously on the cute and cuddly side, but in the best way possible. So now on to custom number 4, which is the custom that I actually still have in my possession that I will be shipping out as you are watching this video. But anyways, here it is. I gotta zoom out for this one because he's a big boy. I will keep Cobalt in frame here for a moment so you can just see the size comparison. This custom will also be getting its own video in the coming weeks, so I will explain more about it in said video. But anyways, the commissioner approached me asking for a two-headed cow custom, and obviously I do have to address that this person over on Instagram already made a custom based off of the same inspirations. They made an amazing custom that I would like to showcase really quickly. I assume that this commissioner was inspired by that, and that is why they asked me to make this custom. So because I already knew about that custom's existence, I wanted to make sure that I used a completely different base figure for the heads for starters, but then also interpreted it in my own way, didn't reference their custom in any way, and just made obviously my own creation, even though it is inspired from the exact same thing. That being said, that out of the way, now let me actually talk about this guy. This is my first time I have ever done a full body sculpt for a commission. I think I've only actually done 3 full body customs in total, so that's pretty cool. The sculpting on the body could definitely be smoother. It's not the greatest in the world, but I sculpted that all with Sculpey clay. I recorded that process, so you will see that in the video when I eventually post it. As for the heads, they are both G7 goat heads, but obviously this character is supposed to be a cow. I do think that it looks very cow-like now that it's finished, which is pretty cool. So this head here is actually a full head, and this is half of a head that I partially stretched over this head and then glued on, and then I added clay in the middle to smooth it out and make it one solid piece. This eye here is actually a sculpted piece as well. Again, I'll talk about all of that more in the video, so I don't want to give too much away here. I do wish that I could have given it a bobblehead. Technically, with the way that I sculpted the two heads together, I definitely could have, but when I was actually getting to the point of attaching it to the body, I just didn't really like how it was attaching just with a peg, so I opted to just smooth the head onto the body. I think that helps it look a little bit more proportional and give it just a cuter pose, and I really love it. If you look solely just at the face on this side, he looks a little bit wonky. I think this one looks pretty cute and pretty natural, but either way, I absolutely love them, and I'm very, very excited for you guys to see that video when it comes out. I love my little two-headed purple cow guy. I'm gonna miss him a lot. Everybody say goodbye to him, wish him safe travels, and I really hope that I can do more two-headed customs like this in the future. So be on the lookout for that in 2025, I suppose. So now on to custom number 3. I did not make an actual video about this custom, but I did sort of a little mini like aesthetic video of me packing this order. This custom was made for somebody who has commissioned me several times. I always appreciate their business, and I really appreciate this custom because it was a mood board commission that they basically gave me complete free reign with, so I can make whatever I want just based off of a mood board that they sent me. And the mood board was actually super cool because it was sort of based off of a bunch of different places that they've either traveled to and really enjoyed, or just places that were important in this person's life. And I think that's an extremely cool thing to take inspiration for a custom. And I decided that I wanted to do a funky head swap with this one. So it's a wolf cat head on a goat body. Definitely a theme with goats this year. I just think that they are a really nice base to work with. But yeah, I love the colors. I love the sculpting that I did on it. I especially love the way that the tree coming out of its eye looks, the little waterfalls and everything. The house on its tail could probably look better, but you know what? It's fine. But yeah, I love this custom. I love the colors. Everything about it I think is so cool, and it was so much fun to create. So again, if you would like to go check that video out, I would really appreciate it. Now on to custom number 2. We have this one that I finished quite recently, and I also recently just posted photos of her on my Instagram, but it is a custom of Ellie from the game The Last of Us Part 2. That's probably like one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely my top 3. I don't think it's my number 1, but out of both Last of Us games, it is definitely my favorite. And Ellie is obviously my favorite character from those games, and probably one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I just love her so much, man. She's so cool. I was so honored when the person asked me to create this custom because I've always wanted to make a custom of Ellie, and I am devastated that I do not get to keep her. But because I love the character so much, I feel like that motivated me to put a little bit of extra detail into it. She's one of my human customs, but yeah, she's made from a short hair cat base. It's a fake short hair cat base, and looking at this custom now, I think that was a very nicely molded fake. And obviously I sculpted her hair, and I sculpted her clothes. I had to add the watch as well. I can't believe that I was able to paint her little tattoo. Obviously it kind of just looks like a bunch of dots and paint splotches, and you can't really see the full design, but I wanted to make sure that I at least included a little bit of it there. And I love all the details that I painted in her hair and her eyebrows and her freckles too, and also her eyes. Her eyes are so detailed. I've had a lot of fun recently putting a lot of extra detail into the eyes, and I feel like I finally found a style that I really like to paint for my human custom eyes. But yeah, I love her so much. I obviously have to make a version of her for myself soon, so hopefully I will find the time to do that. But based on the fact that this year I made almost 300 customs and only one of them was for myself, we'll see if that actually happens. So now on to the final custom, and my favorite custom that I completed in 2024. It is this custom of the character Glory from the book series Wings of Fire. Fire. This is another custom that I was so excited to create when the commissioner reached out to me. I've always been a really big fan of these books, like ever since elementary school, which is kind of crazy. I only read the first 2 arcs. I feel like the conclusion of all the Darkstalker stuff at the end of arc 2 was a satisfying conclusion for me, and I had a sneaking suspicion that the books would go on forever, just like the Warrior Cat book. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna read up to this point and stop there. So that's all the Wings of Fire lore that I know. But what I also do know is that Glory was my favorite character from the very first arc. So the fact that it was a custom of her that I got to make made me all the more excited to make this custom. So if I were gonna make this custom for myself on my own terms, I definitely would have done it a lot differently. I probably would have still used the same iguana base, but I definitely would have sculpted her a snout and added big wings and a bunch of other details that would make her more accurate to the shape of the actual character. This commissioner opted to pick a price point that was a little bit lower than what all of the sculpting I wanted to do would have taken, and obviously that's 100% okay. Like, if you want to commission me, I can do your character in pretty much any category. It's up to you what your budget is, up to you what you want to pay. But I still tried to make her as accurate as possible with the base that I was working in, and I just think she looks amazing. I used a lot of my techniques that I use on my realistic style customs when it comes to like reptilian characters, but she's a little bit more clean and polished. Another thing that I love about Glory as a character is just like all of her colors. I think that she is such a pretty dragon, and I referenced the way that she looks on the cover of the 3rd book and just like the general art of her main colors. And I love the eyes too. I also gave them like a really unique detailed style, and I think she's so fun. Like I said, this is made from an iguana base. I sculpted the horns, I sculpted her little teeth, the horn on her snout, the frills I guess on the side of her head, and her little wings, and then I had to add a little bit of a curly tip to her tail because in the book series she is a type of dragon called a rainwing, and they have prehensile tails. The reason why I also added her sharp teeth sticking out is because rainwings also have fangs that can shoot venom like a snake, so I thought that adding that onto the custom would also be an important thing to include. And this is another custom that I would definitely love to remake for myself with all of the other details that I mentioned me wanting to add. But yeah, I just had so much fun painting this one, and I am extremely proud of the way that the final paint job came out, so that's why I decided to make this one my favorite custom of the year. So yeah, I have been talking for way too long now at this point, but those are my top 10 customs that I made from 2024. Let me know down below in the comments which of those 10 was your favorite. I guess technically 11 because I showed my Krampus custom as well. But if you follow me on Instagram or watch all of my videos and have seen some of my other customs from the year, let me know which one you would choose as your personal favorite. I have so many videos planned out for this year, some of them G7 related and a lot of them custom related. So I hope that you guys are excited for all of that content. I'm going to be very, very busy. Thank you all so much for the support on the channel in 2024. I was looking at my YouTube analytics and I don't remember the exact number, but I got over 6,000 subscribers in 2024, which is so crazy. I remember how long it took me to reach my very first 1,000, and the fact that I got 6,000 in a year is just insane. So thank you so much. I look forward to everything that 2025 has to offer, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!